What's up, guys? A lot of things going on, man. You got Dwayne the Rock Johnson saying the quiet part out loud because he endorsed the administration that is in office right now in 2020, and now he's walking it back and saying, "Hey, whatever." He's trending. Then you got Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro arguing, and Tucker and the Avengers with Donald Trump coming out at UFC, like the Republican Avengers and stuff like that. A lot of things going on, right? But I want to talk to you about something serious that I think that I'm predicting for 2024, and that is I don't believe, and as you can read from the title, I don't believe Joe Biden or Donald Trump will be on the ticket for their respective parties. Republican nomination, Democrat nomination will not go to Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Here's why. First of all, let's start off with the current president. He's a sick man. You know what I mean? Let me get this out of the way. Okay, I don't like Joe Biden. Straight up, as you can see here, I don't like him, but I don't wish any harm on him and his family. I believe that people should get what they deserve. I don't want the man to pass away, but he looks like to me a very, very sick man. I believe he needs to go to prison for the things that he's done to this country, selling us out and stuff like that, and what he did, constantly, throughout his 50 years in office. But to me, he's just not a good person. But he's just a sick man. What they did, speaking of sick, what they did in China, aka San Fran shithole, California, these last couple of days has been despicable. What they did to that city, for them to clean it up and do all the renovations they did, and kick off the homeless people on the streets and everything else, and you know basically said, hey, we can clean this up anytime and we don't care about you guys. We're only cleaning up because our leader came into town. Says a lot about what's going on here. And I'll make a video specifically about Gavin, the American Psycho Newsom, because that guy scares me. Joe Biden is a very sick man. And as you can see, Secretary Blinken, he was just... he was very worried every time he talks, and this ain't the first time. And to say that Joe Biden is the acting president and he's calling the shots is like saying your sick old grandma that's living at your house on their last days is running your household that you have at your house. It's just not it, and you guys know that. Kamala Harris is not. They don't even look at her to be the nominee because she just basically a diversity hire or a what's that word? What's the word when they just hire black people? You know what I'm talking about. Just hire black people for the job. Affirmative hire action. That's what she is. Just like the press secretary, she's an affirmative action hire. There's a lot of affirmative action hires on the left side. But anyways, Joe Biden will not be. Obviously, he will not be the nominee. I don't think he'll make it to November 2024. Either health wise or they're just going to say, you know what, we just can't have this, because obviously this guy is just this last next year that's going to be happening for his administration. This is going to be a long year for his handlers. So obviously Joe Biden will not be president for all those reasons. He's just a sick man, and he does need to be. Him and his family need to be held accountable for what they did to this country. But on to Donald Trump. Now, this is a little bit more complicated. So for all my left wingers or all my people that think this is going to be a conspiracy theory, hey, I'm sorry, you don't like the truth. And conspiracy theory, a lot of people don't understand where that came from, or where the origin of those words came from. That came from when this man right here was assassinated, and then anything outside the narrative that they told you was considered a conspiracy theory. So that's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Conspiracy theory is anything outside the narrative that they push down your throat. This is why I tell people, don't fall for the reindeer games of the Republicans versus the Democrats and what they tell you in the news, in the mainstream media, because it's basically all lies. It just is, right? And just objectively speaking, when you watch the two-tier justice system, I mean, I never thought in a million years that our country would do this to a presidential, a former presidential, or former president and a current presidential candidate, to use and weaponize the DOI, the Department of Injustice, against that person. I just never thought I'd see it. And for Donald Trump, and again, I'm speaking objectively here, right? It's hard to speak objectively. When you look, like I said in my other video, when you look at things from a certain perspective, the perspective I look at is from my country and my family and God. And I try to do what's right, but I believe what they're doing, the political prosecution of a man, they're doing it right in front of everybody, is absolutely despicable. And when they gave him the charge, because there's four charges, right? The one where they, talked about him, basically doing what he did with the documents at the White House. I didn't think they would do, he took him out and had him at Mar-a-Lago. I didn't think they'd use that one, because obviously Joe Biden did the same thing as a senator and a vice president, except he had more documents and he actually had them out in the open. I didn't think they'd use that one. And then the one they're talking about with, Mar-a-Lago's not worth this or that, and the the whatever he did with the saying that the election wasn't right, and just all these BS charges on him that are obviously just complete nonsense. And again, I'm speaking from an objectively standpoint. I'm not the biggest Donald Trump fan, guys, right? Everybody thinks I'm just this Donald Trump lover because I'm telling you what's right from wrong. And there's no, people just think in black and white. They think either you love Donald Trump or you hate Donald Trump and you love Joe Biden. That's not the case. There's a lot of gray areas. I'll give you an example, things I didn't like about Donald Trump. I didn't vote for Donald Trump in 2020. Let me say that straight out. I did not vote for Donald Trump. That was a mistake. I voted for the Green Party, Jill Stein. That was a mistake. I did that. And the reason I did that, now I love Donald Trump all the way up to that point of, not 2020, 2016, I didn't vote for him. I did vote for him in 2020, sorry. I voted for Jill Stein in 2016. I just couldn't vote for Hillary Clinton, because what I saw Hillary Clinton did to Bernie Sanders, and again, I'm not a fan of either one of them. I was like, wow, we can't because if they're doing this to Hillary, to Bernie Sanders, they'll do it in another election, and that's what they did in 2020. That was a mistake, and the reason I didn't vote for Donald Trump, because I didn't think he was qualified, and I thought he was too much of a narcissist, and I thought he'd get us into wars. And I was wrong about him trying to get us into wars. He is a narcissist. You have to be, to a certain extent, to be a president. So that's the first one. And then when he came in and I saw how they just completely attacked the man, the difference between his predecessor, Barack Obama, and how they treated him with white gloves and, just nobody said anything bad about him, but to everybody attacking him, including Fox News, how they didn't want him to be the nominee. I never seen anything like that in my lifetime. I don't know if there's any other president, and I've studied presidents that had to go through what Donald Trump went through. But what couple of things I didn't like what Donald Trump did, and again, hindsight is 2020, but I didn't like how he handled the COVID-19 situation. I just didn't like that from a perspective of, I'm a fiscally conservative person, right? I'm also socially liberal, meaning, you do what you want to do in your yard as long as you don't bother me or try to put your ideals on me. And I like smaller government. I didn't like the fact that from a fiscally conservative standpoint, how much money he printed. From March 2020 until May 2020, he printed like $5 trillion or something like that. It was the most ever. And that was under his watch. You know what I'm saying? And now we're paying the price. Now, to be fair, Joe Biden printed a lot of money too. And also how he handled the stuff with, Fauci and everything else with the jab and him telling us to do it, and he did it. Obviously, looking back, he knew he made a mistake with that, and I'm okay with that. I'm not knocking him for it now because he's realized he's made a mistake. But when he came into, the presidency, when he was, trying to campaign for it, and he was at the debates, he was talking about our deficit that was $19 trillion at the time. And he said that it was too high and we need a businessman. Well, he added $7 trillion to the debt. We're more than $33.5 trillion in debt right now. Obviously, red and blue, parties did that, presidents did that, but he was one of the bigger advocates of that. Now he's not bigger than Joe Biden, but again, he did that. So I'm coming from a standpoint of I'm not a Donald Trump fanboy here. Okay, I love my country, and I'm a fanboy of George Washington, Andrew Jackson, Benjamin Franklin, the founding fathers of this great nation. That's who I'm a fanboy of, and Lady Liberty, my country, and the Constitution of the United States, and that's where I come from. And when I see us veering off of that, I have a problem with it, right? And that's what we're doing. Getting back to Donald Trump's prosecution, that's what we're doing. We're weaponizing the government, the three-letter agencies against our citizens. And it ain't about Donald Trump, right? Even though I do want him to be the president, it's about us as citizens. When they watch us and they do these things to us, and they're doing these things to Donald Trump, and like he said, they want you. I'm just getting in the way. I truly believe that. I don't believe everything Donald Trump says, but I believe that. And as you can see, I can list people on and on how they prosecuted them for no reason, and what they're doing to Donald Trump is absolutely crazy. And now they're trying to take him off the ballots on many states. And if you look, you got to look at patterns, right? So let's just say you got a drunk girl on a bridge, right? And she's veering off she's walking on the bridge. She's walking home drunk on a bridge or a road or whatever. You see her veering to the left, and then she's veering to the right, and then she's veering to the left, and then so if you keep watching, you're gonna say, okay, well, she veered to the right, now she's gonna go to the left. You got to look at patterns, right? And that's the pattern. This man has four charges, 47 indictments or whatever it is, and 91 felony charges. 4 indictments, 47 counts of whatever, 91 felony charges he's looking at. He's looking at over a couple hundred years or 100 years or whatever in prison for complete and utter BS charges. And don't listen to what MSNBC or CNN or all these left-wing media outlets are telling you what the documents are about. And don't listen to the right-wingers too. Really get into there and read the documents and watch the court cases and hear what they're really saying. I mean, they're absolutely nonsense. You know what I mean? And again, the two-tier justice system, we haven't even brought the president's son or the president in for questioning for selling out our country, allegedly. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying about the two-tier justice system. And when you see people that are on the left side come in and get questioned, like Secretary Mayorkas and the guy that, the head of the FBI and everything else, and all these people just getting away with the things that they're doing. And then you got a guy that looks like he didn't do anything on the right side of the aisle, Republican side of the aisle with Donald Trump. It's obvious to me. So in my opinion, if there is an election, which the number one thing is, I don't think there will be an election. And the reason why I don't think there will be an election, because obviously they don't want Donald Trump in office, and they don't want a democracy. It's so funny how the Democrats cry about democracy, but there is no Democrat primary, right? There's no Democrats going against Joe Biden. I know what you Democrats are going to say. Well, he's the incumbent. What do you mean? Well, there's a lot of people standing up against him. There's a lot of people that don't want Joe Biden in office. And if that's the case, you guys should want the best person for the job if you're a Democrat. Because I know there's people that vote blue no matter who. And if that's the case, then let the Democrats fight it out. But you won't do that because you don't want a democracy. You don't want a democracy. That's why you're doing what you're doing with the Republican Party. You're trying to convict them in a court, and trying to get them convicted in the court of public opinion. And that's what they're doing, ladies and gentlemen. That's just the facts, right? So when you got a guy like Donald Trump saying the things that he's saying, going against the narrative, being America first and everything, because I'm all about America, and these left wingers and these rhinos and stuff like that to go against the country. They don't want a guy like Donald Trump coming in and breaking the wheel, because they want their money and they want to get paid by the military industrial complex and these big pharmaceutical companies and the big donors, right? And Donald Trump wants to break that up. So again, they'll take, and they won't. I don't believe they will have a election. Getting back to that, I don't believe they will have an election. I think the election will be a farce if they do, and they don't want one because they don't want Donald Trump to win. And if there is an election, if they let that happen, Donald Trump will not be on the ballot, ladies and gentlemen. It just is what it is, and I wish that weren't the case. But what they're doing now, he won't be in an election, and they want us to be divided, and they want us to be rioting in the streets. They're loving this. The puppet masters are loving the rioting. And there will be riots if Donald Trump is taken off the ballot. You best believe that, and they know that. So they're getting what they want. They get the man they don't want in office. The number one guy in office they don't want is Donald Trump. Take him off the ballots and get rioting through the streets and say that the Republicans or the conservatives or the right wingers or the extreme right wingers or the extreme MAGAs or the American First people, patriots or whatever they're going to call them, insurrectionists and rioters and stuff like that. Meanwhile, the left has just been burning down cities all over this country. You know how it goes in the media. And again, two-tier system with that too. You know, look what Antifa and Black Lives Matters and all these left wingers are doing now, and look what they're doing now with the stuff with Israel, with the Jews versus the Palestinian people. Look what they're doing. You know, they're rioting in the streets and they're, you know, rushing the Capitol and rushing the White House. You think if that wasn't Republicans and people with MAGA hats on, they wouldn't be playing that 24/7 on CNN? Of course they would. They're doing this all over the country, mind you. That's just only a couple of examples. You know, so my prediction is Joe Biden will be too sick. What they'll do is the Democrats. What they'll do is they will go, because the primary is supposed to be in August for the Democrats. They'll try to drag Joe Biden all the way until that point. They're going to keep Gavin Newsom out front, because you heard what Joe Biden said. Oh, he's a great governor. He said that about Gavin Newsom, which he's the worst governor. Look at the state of California, and San Fran shithole, California, California. Oh, he's a great governor. He'll probably get the job that I want. He's saying a quiet part out loud. He wasn't supposed to say that. He wasn't supposed to say a lot of stuff. He also called the leader of China, you know what he called him. Anyway, a dictator. And, you saw Secretary Blinken's like, oh, my God, I can't believe he said that. But anyway, saying the quiet part out loud. That's why they can't let Joe Biden talk. But when Joe Biden gets dragged to the primary, what are they going to say? Oh, Joe Biden decided to retire and he wants to give it over to a younger guy, the American psycho, Gavin Newsom, and he'll be the the nominee, and no Democrat that goes against the regime or go against Joe Biden and what they're doing will even be thought about trying to be getting on the ticket. And then maybe Michelle Obama will be his vice president or somebody else. I don't know who will be. It's definitely Gavin Newsom. But with the Republican Party, Donald Trump will not be on the ticket because of the reasons I said. And then everybody's going to be rioting in the streets. And 2024, guys, in my opinion, is going to make 2020 look like a picnic. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican. You can leave your comments down below. I don't censor anybody. We can have different opinions as long as we have free speech. I don't care what you say. You can call me names. You can disagree. I don't care, because I'm a First Amendment free speech absolutist, unlike some people. And I let people talk and say what they want. All right. I love each and every one of you, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace and love, guys.